The series started with Sun waking up from sleep. She mumbled to herself, asking when she would stop dreaming about him. We will find out who that was later. But most importantly, do not rush, as the news played in the background covering a massive public opinion case while she got dressed. She got ready for work, and I forgot to mention she was a lawyer. But not just any lawyer, as she did not take cases, except the huge ones that seemed impossible. Yet she always found a solution, and when she secured an acquittal in this specific case, the public objected, and while she was on her way, the press stopped her, and people threw eggs to show their objection. Meanwhile, at the firm, her manager was extremely happy that she had won the case, and he did not care about the public outrage against her. He said that public opinion was always emotional, while they were people of logic. Later, her colleagues started gossiping about her, saying she won against the public prosecutor who appeared before them on the news, and they were envious of her financial gains from the many cases she handled, and they claimed it was not her skill that made her a partner, but something else. One of the colleagues told his friends to listen to him. He added that they all knew she had autism, as she had neither a friend nor a lover, and her life was just work, to the point that they started to feel she was a robot. Suddenly, he found the robot herself standing right beside them, but before we knew what happened, remember to like and subscribe. After that, they tried to distract her to avoid getting scolded, and they acted all nice, telling her that they were throwing her a party and that she should take a break from work. She told them sorry because her work hours had ended, and she had to leave. The manager asked her about the desserts, which were very expensive. As soon as Sun returned home, she took off her serious mask and put on her glasses to sit glued in front of her laptop and support her favorite star, who was a famous singer named Doe, who had just released a new album. So she started saving all his songs and spamming likes, comments, and hearts, just like the ones you will do right now. His photos covered the wall. Then her neighbor and only friend came by and told her he brought some food, so she told him thanks and asked him to leave so she could continue sending likes to Do. He said enough already, as she was one of the biggest fans. Anyway, he tempted her with drinks that he brought, so she gave in and opened the door for him, and they sat to eat together, and he blamed her regarding the case that was ongoing and the people's anger at her, claiming she did not care about anything but money. So she said she was doing her job and that people saw what they wanted, and indeed, money was important to use for supporting Do, of whom she even carried small photo cards, and she never stopped looking at them. Then we went to see Do in the flesh, who was dazzling our heroine while he was on his way to the studio with fans standing in lines, and one of them jumped and knocked him to the ground. So he got up, gathering what remained of his charisma, and walked away laughing for the sake of the press. But as soon as he moved away, he scolded his assistants for not tightening security, and when he entered the dressing room, he continued his tantrum because neither the clothes nor anything else pleased him, and he wanted to leave and skip the exhibition. So the assistant told him, no, please, as this was the first time for his appearance on stage alone, and they had barely managed to arrange it. He kept pleading with him until he agreed and went out to sing, while his assistant stood in the background, wishing to get rid of him, saying that the audience was dying for him because they did not know how different he was. We returned to Sun, who was at her job in the court in a rush, checking her watch every moment. As soon as the time came, she ran and went out to her friend outside. As for Do, he was in the car when he received a message from a fan telling him to give her his apartment password. He was startled and threw the phone from his hand, then went to the signing ceremony, and there was a girl standing far away, whom he looked at and was shocked. Then a fan came to ask him for his phone number, and when he refused, she got angry at him, heavily shouted at him, and gestured with her hand. Security came and took her, but he still could not stop feeling tense, so he entered the bathroom, unable to catch his breath from the shock, and he took out sedative pills to take, but they all fell on the floor. Then we saw Sun outside running, and we knew of course what she was rushing for, and she bumped into the girl whom Do had seen and was shocked by, handing her the keychain that fell from her. When Sun entered and found the signing ceremony was over, she got very upset. Do was at home looking at a photo with a girl who was the same girl he saw at the party. Later, he heard a voice outside the door and knew they were fans, so he asked them to leave immediately because he was not in the mood, and security came to escort the two girls out of the building. The next day, the production company manager came and scolded Do because there was a leaked video of him scolding fans who were at his house. Do told him that he did not make a mistake, as they entered his house without his permission like criminals. The manager replied asking if he knew how much they paid to delete that video. Sun was sitting, struggling to book a ticket for Do's concert, but she did not find empty seats, but she found someone offering a ticket for sale. So Sun told him she would give him $1 million, one if he gave it to her. As for Do, before going to his concert, he went to his psychiatrist to prescribe him more sedatives. We returned to Sun, who went to meet the man she would buy the ticket from and gave him an envelope with money and took the ticket. But when he opened it, he did not find the amount agreed upon and was about to argue with them. So they started filming him and saying that he wanted to take money that was not his right. He got scared and bolted alone, running away. So Sun and her her friend ran after him. Do had reached the concert venue disguised to avoid the fans, who were running after him. Sun grabbed him, thinking he was the man she was running after. But when he turned around and she saw it was Do, he covered her mouth with his hand and told her not to scream for the sake of the fans. When the gate opened, he left her and walked away, but she felt butterflies. Already, Do heard his team from the room while they could not stand him due to his delay, so he entered and argued with them. One of them started being rude and asked him if he was acting famous. He said they all knew that he was selling his sad story to people to gain their sympathy, and that he became famous because his mother used to work in a nightclub. At that moment, they hit Do and engaged in a fight, and their friend, the poor guy who tried to break them up, fell in the middle, and his arm got broken, so they took him to the hospital. On the other side, Sun was sitting thinking about her meeting with Do and felt happy, but she encountered news about him on the internet stating that he fought with a colleague, and they were in the hospital because of him, and social media filled up with news like this about him, and also videos of him insulting his team and the fans, and the comments were all negative. But she had a small flashback of when she was a child sitting and crying, and someone came and put a cap on her to hide her tears. Then she immediately wrote a comment about how much she trusted. Do had returned home, and a friend of his came with him and asked him if after what happened he would stay in the band or not. He told him that he must stay in it because it was hard to succeed alone. They spent the evening together and kept talking. The next day, Do woke up from sleep and did not find Young with him. When he went out to the living room, he found him stabbed lying on the ground, and someone had finished him off. He hugged him and kept crying. Then the housekeeper arrived, and as soon as she entered and saw the scene, she screamed and lost consciousness. On the other side, Sun, who was living in her own bubble, woke up and looked at Do's photo, saying she dreamed of him again, the same dream. When she opened her laptop, she found social media full of news that Do had killed his friend Young, so she took off and ran to the police station where Do was, and she entered a room and found him sitting. She said to herself that the day she met him face to face like this, it was as a lawyer while he was the accused. She entered and sat with him, but he collapsed from crying. He told her Young surely did not die and was still alive, but she introduced herself and told him that unfortunately he died, and they found him killed in his house. She started asking him if he had enemies whom he and Young suspected. He told her about the two fangirls who once entered his house, and they constantly photographed him, threatened him, and sent him strange messages. He started getting angry and saying they surely were the ones who did that, and he kept insulting them while she sat saying to herself that she could not believe what she was witnessing. Sun walked out looking dazed, thinking about the words Do had said, and remembered the past when her friends at school bullied her because her father was accused in a murder case too. One day she was crying and Do was in front of her, and when he saw her, he put his cap on her, and he was the only one who comforted her and gave her a device with a song of his recorded on it. Years passed, and she grew up and discovered that Do became a band singer, so she went to attend her first concert of his and told herself she was able to continue because of him. She returned home and told herself she was confident that Do did not do that. As for Do, he was in the interrogation, and the investigator was pressuring him and stressing him out to make him say what he wanted and make him slip up. The next day, Sun went to her lawyer colleague and yelled at him because he refused Do's case and did not want to defend him. He told her that the public prosecutor in this case was taking it as a challenge and no one would be able to handle him, and he would win it anyway and destroy the defense lawyer, and if she took the case, he would destroy her too. Here, we saw a journalist talking to a manager telling him to look at the photo he sent him, which was a photo of the girl who was at the signing ceremony, suggesting that she might be involved in the case. We went to Sun, who went to the precinct to Do and told him she had one question, and he must answer it while looking her in the eye. The question was whether he finished off Young or not. He got emotional and swore to her that he was not the one who did that. She said that this boy was honest because she remembered his acting was terrible, so surely he was not acting with such skill. She told him okay, and to give her power of attorney so she would defend him, but on one condition. Then Do's assistant came to visit him and asked Do to find him another lawyer because she was crazy. Do replied that no one agreed to defend him, and there was no one else but her, and even the agency had abandoned him. He started crying and asking him why he did that. After that, a lawyer came to him, but he seemed a bit off and told him that he wanted him to confess without much fuss because all evidence was against him. Do asked if he wanted him to confess to something. He did not do, and told him to get lost as he had his lawyer already. A message came to Sun from the firm to take Do's case, so she went to her friend who was helping with her work and told him to move as they had a mission, and told him about the two girls who entered Do's house before the incident and asked him to find out who they were. She went to Do's house and checked the surveillance cameras, wondering how someone could enter without the cameras recording him. She kept walking around the house, and there she met the public prosecutor handling the case. He told her, asking if, now that she knew all the evidence pointed to him, she would give up. Then she noticed a mole on his neck, so she remembered that he was one of the bullies at school, so she told him this case was hers and told told him to stay out of it. In her office, the manager came yelling at her, telling her that he would not tolerate her losing this case. But she reassured him that she would win it easily and would bear full responsibility. Then a young girl entered from the firm carrying all the case files, telling her she stole them from the office of the lawyer, her colleague, because she wished to be her legal assistant. And she was also one of those fans. But Sun, with her awakened conscience, told her not to do that, honey, and assigned her work to Do, which made her very happy. Sun's friend had reached the two girls who broke into Do's apartment, and she went to meet them, but they did not want to talk even after she showed them their video. But when she threatened them that she could file a lawsuit against them and claim damages, they said no, since it involved lawsuits and money. They would talk. They started telling her how they entered the apartment, telling her that at a specific time the guard at the house changes, so they snuck in during that time and saw Do typing the password. The next day they went and entered, claiming they loved him and did not want to harm him or anything. She explained to them gently that this was not love, asking them to understand. Then she left to go to Do to reassure him before his hearing. At the session, she stated that the prosecutor claimed that no one broke into his apartment, while we all knew that two girls entered his apartment without the cameras catching them or anything. Furthermore, where was the murder weapon? There is no verdict without evidence, as is well known. She requested his release until proof appeared. The public prosecutor was sitting there fuming, and the judge indeed decided to release Do. She walked with him to take him home. On the last day, we saw the news writing about Do, that he was released for lack of sufficient evidence, and the girl who was at the party was following this news. As for Do, while walking with Sun, he saw a large poster with his image, with killer written on it. He stopped and was very affected and upset, and Sun was sad for him. Anyway, he entered his house, but saw before him all his memories with Young, so he could not stay there, and went down to the street and kept drinking juice until she lost consciousness. The next day, he woke up finding himself in a house other than his own. As soon as he walked out, he found Sun in his face, and she said good morning to him and welcomed him to her humble home. But he looked at the knife in her hand and got startled while she kept walking behind him, telling him that the police called her yesterday and asked her to come pick him up. Next, she was getting closer while he backed away, looking at the knife, so she realized what was happening and put it down from her hand. So he began to regain his composure and wanted to leave, but she told him that he received a summons from the public prosecutor, and if he did not go, his situation would worsen. We saw the public prosecutor while he was with the doctor, who examined Young's body, telling him that the stab wound was the main cause of his death, and he did not even resist, which meant it was someone he trusted. But also the stab was very precise and done by someone who knew what they were doing. The policeman said that Do was drunk while he and Young were together, so how could someone like him inflict a stab with such steadiness and focus? The public prosecutor left angrily and told the policeman he must find him any evidence that Do was the one who committed this crime. Sun went to meet Do's assistant and asked him if the housekeeper ever forgot the house key or anything. He told her it was impossible, as she was a very responsible woman and had worked with Do for more than 10 years. Then entered the manager, and she sat with him, though she could not stand him because he wanted to cancel Do's contract because of this incident, and she asked him if Do and Young had fought together before, but he denied that and told her they were always as close as honey and butter. Then the rest of the team entered, and he got angry at them and asked her how she could defend him after what he did to Young, and showed her a video of him and Young fighting. She left, driving her car, thinking that no one believed Do's innocence at all, and indeed all the evidence pointed to him. At that moment, she heard Do's mother saying in an interview that she did not believe Do would do that, but if he did do that, it would be better to confess. The manager was trying as much as he could to delete this interview. Then Do entered and asked him if he was looking to terminate the contract. He told him that because of him, he lost a lot of money, and no one knew what happened at that time other than him, and they could not believe him. Even his mother, who took credit cards in his name, did interviews and took money. Credit card companies thought he could not pay because of this case. Do asked him if that meant he was abandoning him. He told him that was the most he could offer him. As for Sun, she went to meet Do's mother and warned her that if she did not stop appearing in interviews and saying things that harmed Do, she would file a lawsuit for defamation against her and claim damages, so she better behave herself. While she was on the road, her friend called her saying he could not find Do, so she told him that she had put a tracking device on him. We saw Do with a gang of loser kids who were mugging him and wanted his shoes because they were a very valuable piece and limited edition in the world, but he insulted them, so the boy told him that he must want to die today. Do told him that he would be doing him a favor, really. Then they realized that he was Do, who finished off Young, so they started filming him, but he threw the phone on the ground, so they ganged up on him, beat him, took the shoes, and left. Sun met them and saw his shoes in their hands and asked them where the owner was. They did not answer her, and her friend came from behind her, hitting them until they spoke. She took the shoes and went to him, and he was very scared, and told her that a voice inside him was telling him that he was the one who should have died, not him. She reassured him him that she was with him and would not leave him. At the police station, they were reviewing the cameras and saw Do entering a supermarket and leaving it without buying anything and walking a different path than his home. So they decided to get the rest of the road camera recordings. Do started telling Sun that when he was young, his mother worked in a club and later he used to sing. And the manager of the place discovered him and made him work in the same place. And his mother at that time told him he must sing to earn money. And since that day he had been doing that, he told her how he and Young were close to each other and how much he stood by him. She showed him the video where they were fighting. He told her they were not fighting, but that while they were practicing together, they got heated like that normally. And before the concert, he was nervous. He said he had to think about what happened that day, gather his courage, and return home to remember. The next day, the public prosecutor was holding Sun's CV, and from her information, he felt that he knew her before. Anyway, he went out, and his colleague came to him and kept nagging him to meet his wife's sister. Who was his wife's sister? She was the girl who was watching Do and following his news. He sat with her, and she asked him about Do's case, telling him that it seemed clearly he was not the criminal since he was released for lack of sufficient evidence. He asked her if she understood law. She told him, sort of, so he told her to. Keep it to herself then. He left her and walked away to answer a call from the detective telling him that they found a taxi that drove on the same road Do was on, but the driver was uncooperative and not talking, so he told him okay, and that he would send him an investigation warrant. Do did not want to go to Young's funeral, but Sun convinced him to improve his standing. He went, and the press started filming him, and he stood and said that Young was his only friend, and he would not stop trying for his sake until he found out who finished him off. Then he went to the public prosecutor who showed him the video where he entered and left the supermarket without buying anything. He told him he did not find the drink he wanted. Then he walked through a shortcut path. The prosecutor told him this path required only 20 minutes, while he took 30 minutes. Sun followed him out and asked him what he was hiding from her, as she was his lawyer, and her only condition was that he hide nothing from her. She asked why he took a long time to return. He told her he was walking slowly. The detective here went to the prosecutor and told him he found something on this flash drive. We returned to Sun, who was yelling at time, telling him he was lying to her because when he lied, his neck turned red. He was surprised and asked her how she knew, as no one knew this detail except those close to him. She changed the subject, and just as she was about to leave, a motorcycle came and almost hit her, but Do barely saved her. The detective played the flash drive for the prosecutor, which contained a video showing that the girl who was watching that Do stopped him on that road and was trying to finish him off. We returned to Do and Sun standing together and saw the same girl running towards him from afar and getting very close to him, all in front of Sun. Sun remembered the past when a rumor spread that Do was dating a girl named Hai, and she stopped eating for 3 days because of this news until he came out and denied it. Then she saw that a journalist was photographing them, so she took them to her car and they went to an empty place. She called her friend to come while Do and Hai were standing far away talking, and when her friend arrived, he told her that wasn't she the one whom rumors claimed they were dating in the past. He told her that generally it was clear he was a big liar because it looked like they were indeed dating, so she should not believe him or trust him. Do told Hai that he did not mention her name in anything, so she should leave him alone. She replied that she saw his teammate whom he fought with walking towards his house that day, although the news said he was in the hospital, but she saw him with her own eyes there. Sun told him that on that day he went via that road to meet her and stay away from the cameras. He told her Hai had nothing to do with anything and that he would finish an errand, and when he returned, he would explain everything to her. He took a motorcycle and went to his colleague, grabbing him by the collar and asking him if he left the hospital on that day. But he told him if he thought he would let him frame him for his crime or what, and they continued fighting. As for Sun, she was in her office thinking that the reason for Do's sadness during this period was because he broke up with his girlfriend, and her colleagues noticed that she was upset. We saw the journalist who took photos of Do and Hai publish an article claiming he was on a romantic date. Do called Sun and asked her to delete it immediately. The public prosecutor went to his colleague and told him that he made him sit with the main suspect in this baffling case. Do went to the journalist and asked him to delete the article, but he refused and told him, just like he made him delete the news of their relationship before, wasn't she the one he abandoned his family and everything for? Sun was listening to all of that. They started fighting each other, so she had to intervene and ask the journalist to delete the article because this was an invasion of privacy. He told her there was no such nonsense because Do was a public figure. She told him, yes, but Hai was not, and this would involve lawsuits, defamation, and drama he could do without. Sun then got angry at Do because he hid things from her and was still hiding. He remembered when she sent him messages that she was in Korea and was calling him, but he kept ignoring her. Then he heard Young talking to her, telling her that everything ended between them now. so he yelled at him asking him what made him talk to her. Then he calmed and told him he was not upset, but he was just upset because he made a decision on his behalf. That day, their malicious colleague saw them. Du returned at night and sent Hai a message to meet, and they met at that place, which was why he changed his route, and he ended everything with her. When she told him she still loved him, he told her he would not let her ruin his life again. He left her and walked away, but she followed him in her car, wanting to finish him off, but she stopped in front of him. We return to the present, and Du told Sun that he did not lie to her about anything, saying that he just did not want to involve Hai in the case. The prosecutor here was interrogating Hai and asking her why she wanted to hit him that day. She told him they were just friends, and this was how they joked together. Then she told him about their colleague, saying she saw him that day even though he was supposed to be in the hospital, while he had ruled that Du was the culprit without bothering to search for the truth. We saw that one day Young saw that colleague talking on the phone, and as soon as he came, he hung up and asked Young what was on his mind, as he had been acting strange and not himself for a while. He got tense and told him to just stop spying on him and everything would be fine. Later, Sun was sitting lamenting her luck to her friend, telling him that humans looked beautiful from afar, but when she got close to him, she felt distant, and that she was closer when she watched him on stage. Also, when she saw him with Hai, she felt they were in a different world. She went out and found Du sleeping on the sofa, approached him and said if time went back, she would not have gotten close to him and would have kept loving him freely from afar only, and she cried. The next day, she prepared food for him and wrote him a note to finish all his food. Then he went to her friend who gave him things she had bought for him. He told him he actually used all of that normally, asking how she knew. He replied it was normal, surely from the news, as he was a public figure after all. Du wondered in his mind what was wrong with this guy and why he spoke to him like that. Later, Sun and Du went to the interrogation room with the public prosecutor, who was trying to find any loophole to pin the case on Du. Then Sun spoke to him about Hai and how he kept interrogating her for more than 6 hours, and that he was pressuring her. She threatened him that if he did not stop that immediately, he would face consequences. They left, and Du asked her if Hai was out of the case. She told him yes, so he thanked her profusely and was happy, and excitement took over him for a bit. Then the prosecutor came, speaking to her privately, telling her that he recognized her, adding that she had changed a lot from the old days, and asking if she accepted the case when she knew that he was the prosecutor in it. She told him she did not see him at all, nor did she see anyone else, and left him and walked away. When she went out, Du asked her if she knew the prosecutor before. She told him no. He asked her how she had never dated before, adding that her friend liked her. She got angry at him and told him he was just a friend to her. Suddenly, she found no brakes in the car, and the car sped out of control. While they were driving, they had an accident. Sun woke up finding herself in a hospital, and her friend beside her told her not to worry as her arm was just broken. She told him she suspected that this accident was intentional. Then Du saw that the press got the news and were present at the hospital. So he went to Sun, took her, and left. The prosecutor was sitting receiving a scolding from his boss, asking him what this turmoil he caused in this case was and what made him involve Hai as an accomplice, as her family was not letting it go. He told him to find a solution, either bring strong proof for his claims or find another solution. Then the detective told the prosecutor that he confirmed that indeed their colleague was not in the hospital that day. He said then they must open an investigation with him. Sun was walking, losing her balance, so Du walked with her and picked her up. She asked him what he was doing and told him to put her down. She said, "Put me down. Your back hurts." He asked her how she knew that too. She told him it was normal, as everyone's back hurt, so he shouldn't make a big deal of it. He took her home and told her from today only he would care for her. We saw the prosecutor's father go to Hai's father to apologize to him for the unintentional mess that happened with his daughter. He told him that in the past he used to finish these stories quickly, but this topic lasted too long and they wanted the end credits. We saw Hai asking her assistant if he found Du or not. He told her that his location was still unknown and he was afraid that the president, who was her father, would know that he was helping her, but she told him shame on him and not to worry, just find his location at Sun's house. She insisted on washing her hair while in a cast, and she came out not knowing how to dry her hair. So Du helped her and sat her next to the fan, and they sat talking and joking. In the middle of the conversation, she looked at him and laughed, so he got nervous and asked her if they should go eat or what. While they were eating, he told her she seemed to like him very much and showed her all the products that had his picture, for which he had done ads, and she did not use anything else. She asked him why he despised all his fans, as she did not understand. He told her not because they were fans of Meyer, Do the singer, not him at all, as he was a person who could not love or receive love, and the only one who knew that was no longer there now, so he was glad she was not his fan. She suppressed her shock while remaining silent. The next day, her friend came to her and told her that indeed, the brakes were disabled intentionally. She told him it was normal, and she was sure. Do woke up and saw them together and was wanting to go hear what they were talking about, but he heard her friend asking her if she thought Do was the one who did that himself to gain people's sympathy and clear himself from the case, but Sun defended him and told him no, Do would not do that. Do was still going to go scold him, but when he heard Sun defending him and not believing it, he calmed down. She told him she would remain confident in him until the end. Do was happy. Back at the police station, they were interrogating Do's colleague, who denied he was outside the hospital that day. The prosecutor told him that since he was lying, he was hiding something, and he was currently just a witness, so he should not turn himself into an accused person foolishly. He told him he was accusing the wrong person, as he had proof that Do was the one who finished off Young, and he had the reason that made him do that. At home, Sun had recovered, and Do told her, okay, he would not have to care for her. From today, her friend came and told her that they arrested those who did that to the car, and Do went with them to the police station where they found that the two girls who caused trouble from the start were the ones who did that, likely having no life. When they asked them why they did that, they said that he deserved it because he finished off Young, and she deserved it because she was helping him. But Do made them release them and told them to do anything they wanted to him, but not to hurt anyone with him. After that, Sun received a call from the office, and when she went, the lawyer told her. Her colleague said they caught new evidence from Do's colleague, and events would escalate in the case, so it was better for her to get out of it. The manager told her she must leave this case completely, and he would give her a bigger case to work on, but she said she would not abandon her client and would leave the firm until this case ended, just to be done with. Sun went to her office and told Do that a confrontation interrogation would be held for him and this colleague, and they had to be ready for everything. They went to their third friend, who used to mediate between them, and he told them that he was sitting, annoyed by the negative comments that were coming to Do, and then he woke up at night and did not find the colleague in the room, and the next day he heard the news of Young's death. When Do asked him why he did not tell him that, Sun, he told him that the colleague told him he must say that he was in the hospital. Do and Sun returned home together, and he confessed to her that he used to treat people very badly and asked her, what if I actually did that? Why do you believe me? She told him she trusted him. Then Hai walked in on them and realized he was sleeping at her place and asked her, isn't it shameful for a lawyer to do this? She grabbed his hand and told him, let's get out of here. But he let go of her hand, went to hold Sun's hand, and told her she was the one misunderstanding, as he was here in the right place. Sun left them to talk and went inside. Do asked Hai what she wanted from him after they broke up. She told him no, they never broke up. She just humored him at the time so that he would be comfortable. But now that nonsense was over. She asked him what Sun was to him. He replied that she was the only person he trusted now, adding that when they were apart, he used to take medicines and sedatives to be able to continue. But now he stopped his meds, and even after losing Young, he was still standing thanks to her. So if she truly loved him, she should not appear before him again. He went inside and apologized to Sun. As for Hai, she sat remembering the past when they were breaking up, and she asked her assistant if he found the lawyer she told him about or not yet, and also to check for her if there were any debts against Do. The next day, Sun and Do were going to the interrogation with his colleague, and she gave him some instructions that he must follow, and she told him the most important thing was not to get emotional. Suddenly, we saw him only while he was sitting yelling at his colleague and extremely angry. The colleague said, there, you see, gentlemen, he is always like this. Even with Young, he always got angry and caused scenes with him. The colleague then revealed the motive. That would make Do finish off Young, which was that Do signed a secret contract with another company to make a solo album away from the band. Young caught this secret, and when he confronted him about knowing the truth, he finished him off. The prosecutor told Do that the payment for the contract had arrived in his mother's account, and that this was a trick by him to clear himself. When they left, Sun told Do she would look into this matter and not to worry, and she found out his mother's location. Then he went to her and asked if she signed a contract with the company in his name behind his back. With all audacity, she admitted that she indeed did that and took the money, telling him that she went to the prosecutor, who told her that if he turned himself in, he would get only 10 years, which was nothing. He got angry that she did not believe him and believed he was a killer. Sun asked her if she remembered the name of the company she signed the contract with or any data about them, but she remembered when the prosecutor told her that whatever was said there must not go out, so she would not become an accused accomplice too. So she told her she forgot and changed her number. Do reached his limit with his mother. Sun took him to the roof of a building and told him, remember this place? It was the first training room where you met Young. On that day, the fans collected the advertisement money themselves so they could be known and come to light. She said, I am just reminding you that there are still still. Fans who believe in you and believe that you did not do that and are waiting for you to return. They returned home, and she said she made her friend watch that company, and if the contract truly existed, then he did not sign it himself. He told her that on that day. He also completely refused to renew his contract with his company unless they renewed the contract for the whole team. If we prove that, I will be able to clear myself. A message came to Sun's phone, so she went outside and met Hai and explained to her why he was sleeping at her place, but she told her. Hai said it was good she did that, thanked her, and gave her a law firm card, telling her she could go and be a head lawyer there, asking to let her help them a little. But Sun told her she did not work like that, and if she needed any help, she would call her right away. The next day, Sun went to meet her manager, while Du met his boss, who told him he was always trying to save the team until the last moment, and all that he did for them was written down with him, and he would testify to that in court because he was still under his brand, and also he had been with him for 20 years, which was the least he could do for him. As for Sun's manager, he told her okay, there was no need to leave the case, as he knew she was holding on to it because it resembled her father's case, and that she always took difficult cases to save his office, so he would not stand in her way, and she should continue with the case. She remembered when she was on a visit to her father, crying and asking him to tell her he did not do that. He told her he knew she would believe him and that he truly did not do that. Then the manager told her that he also still believed until today that he did not do that. Du was standing, hearing all that. At the end of the day, he could not sleep, so he went to her while she was working and told her that she knew everything about him while he did not know anything about her, and asked her what her favorite hobby was. She remembered that she did nothing other than following his news, so she told him there was nothing specific. He asked her what her favorite song was, so she also remembered when she used to listen to his songs, and excitement took her elsewhere, so she told him no, she did not listen to songs or music at all. He replied, asking how that was possible and if there was anyone who did not listen to music. He took her to a piano and started singing for her the song he sang to her the very first time they met at all. The next day, Sun was going out to meet the company holding Du's contract, and Du stopped her to take the apartment key from her because he wanted to go out. He indeed went down to buy vegetables and shop and returned to call his assistant, and they had a tearful moment because she missed him. He asked her for the recipe of his favorite dish, so she told him she would make it for him herself. He told her passionately no, he needed to make it with his own hands for a person who also loved it very much. We saw Sun was sitting with the company manager telling him that they must not legally recognize this contract. He told her that they signed and paid the money, but she said to him that they did not sign with the artist himself, and that was invalid. He replied that they were victims too, and that they trusted them, and kept speaking in the plural form for a while until she got surprised and asked him who them referred to exactly. He told her they had agreed with Young personally, and there was no time, so they were forced to sign the contract with Do's mother. At home, Du was cooking but could not find the rice, so he called Sun's friend to ask him about its location because he was making a surprise meal for Sun. He told him he might find it on the upper shelf. When he went up, he found photos and many things belonging to Sun, and he opened an album of her photos from when she was young. Then he found a box on the floor, opened it, and remained shocked. As for Sun, she was returning home in a state of shock greater than his, since she heard that the one who arranged this deal was Young, and that he assured them he could bring Du to the company. She went up to the house and found photos and everything related to him scattered on the floor while he was sitting next to them, telling her he needed an explanation for what they both were seeing. I need to remind you that, even after this mess, we still do not know who finished off the man, but here ends the first part of our series. Wait for the second part to know the fate of poor Sun who was caught in such a bad way. Most importantly, do not forget to like and subscribe. Goodbye.